Welcome to day 43 of TFIF 365. And today I want to talk about the need to shift from how we think, talk, and behave related to pricing and how we calculate value. So I wanted to start this because I was in conversation with a young woman who's in an indigenous community in Mexico, who was seeking, who's a lot of her work is seeking help for other people. And so if she was looking for a housekeeper for someone elderly, she'll put out a, a request for someone to do that. And then it always devolves into a conversation about the minimum wage there and how much you pay for something. And it's a conversation I've also had with expats who move to other countries who understandably love the fact that the cost of living is less where they are compared to where they're from, usually from Europe, United States, Canada. And yet I have a problem with that. I have some issues with that because if I will pay a housekeeper, let's say $50 an hour to clean my house in the US, just because a housekeeper outside the US in an indigenous or a community that is the cost of living is cheaper, let's say that, because I'm trying to be very clear and very specific here so I don't offend, because it's not that the places are shithole countries as we've heard, or they're third world. I don't like that third world country thing. Their cost of living is just different. Their economy is different. I'll just say it that way. I cannot just pay, if I'm paying someone $50 an hour in the US to clean my house, I am not going to pay somebody $5, $10, even $20 an hour to clean my house when I'm in these places. I understand, I've heard all the conversations around that and how it messes up the local economy. And there are ways, I'm sure, and that's why I'm really interested in this Indigenous Economies project that I'm working on, of finding ways to pay for services comparable to what you would pay where you're from, because if not, you're being exploitative. That, let's just be honest, you're being exploitative without negatively impacting the local economy. I'm sure there are ways to do it. Those are the things that I want to investigate. But saying out of hand that I'm not going to do it, or that me paying something comparable to what I would pay where I'm from will mess up everything. I think that's just a cop-out. That's a narrative that people are perpetuating. That needs to be examined. That needs to be challenged. I need to see the data of people trying different ways of solving this problem for me to finally get to a place where I say, oh, they've tried it, it doesn't work. And particularly because I don't know of anybody who has been working from a supremacy-free, coercion-free, discrimination-free, and exploitation-free perspective, that these things have been tried and failed under that approach. So I'm saying this because this wasn't even what I was going to talk about today, but I'm bringing it up because I've had so many people who, when I put out my prices, call me a grifter and call me all these other things and literally expect me to do this work for free, as if I don't have my own bills and everything to pay for. And so we see it on a macro level when we think that countries that have a different or lower cost of living, those individuals deserve to be kept in their place is coming to my mind, but I know that's not what people think, but it's the impact, not the intention, and that's the impact. Whereas opposed to coming in, asking for a service and negotiating from a place of where you've been willing to pay. And you don't want to exploit. Because one of the things that happens in this is we end up gentrifying places that we go to when we've often been gentrified out of the places that we've come from. So I'll say more about this as I tease this out. But again, I wasn't planning on talking about this, but this conversation came up where this person is attempting to help other people. But when she asks for donations or she asks about pay, people have these various calculations they come up with that don't align with supremacy, coercion, discrimination, and exploitation free. I would like to develop a list of criteria that are rooted in supremacy, coercion, discrimination, and exploitation free that say this is what the most people are paying. That's not even a living wage, particularly if it's not a living wage. I am gonna definitely increase pay. I don't care where I am. I am not gonna perpetuate folks not having a living wage. I don't give a damn where I am. And if I can't afford that, then I don't need that service. That's just how I feel about it. If I can't get something at the expense of others, sovereignty, their ability to take care of themselves and their families and their communities, then this work I'm doing means absolutely nothing. So that's what I have to say on that, because that was just top of mind. We need to start shifting what we think about pricing, particularly for people who continually have their prices dictated to them by those who are used to dictating prices. So since I want you to think about this, where in your life are you leaning into this capitalism that you say you don't approve of, but you use it as an excuse to exploit others? So until tomorrow, peace.